Because discipline, I'm like, what is discipline? It's almost a foreign concept for me at the moment, that because that touches on the deep, deep, deep worldview of children is actually evil, and they need to be sorted, they need to be fixed and continuously. So
Yeah, like when you say discipline, we have no discipline in our family. We have no punishment. We have no rewards.
yeah, that's a big thing. Also no rewards, because the compassionate communication thing is that the carrot and the stick is the same thing. It's violence. So
So, but there is boundaries, and I think the boundaries is more around what I am willing to do and not and what not. So it's not about you've done something, now I put a boundary to punish you. It's more about, okay, there's something's happened, and how am I going to react? What boundary and I'm going to put around, so that, yeah, it's more about my reaction than to say, okay, you've done something wrong, so now you, or let's take bedtime for instance. My kids go to bed when they want to, because they've learned if they go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, the next morning they're very tired, grumpy. So that we use, I'd say, natural consequences as life teaches them, because now the next morning they're grumpy and they don't feel well, and they have something fun planned and now they don't want to go, or so it's more natural consequences. But for instance, then I will go to bed. I'll say, guys, I'm ready to. So that's my boundary. I'm not going to stay up until you go to sleep. I'm going to sleep because I'm tired now. And then because they need to decide how they figure that out. Yeah, so we don't.
So Lawrence, to explain it, it's almost like when you start a new organization or business, then you figure out systems that work, and then people sometimes join later and they don't know why these systems and the rules are in place. So to keep the discipline in our house, we make the children part of the designing of the rules, so they understand why do we do what we do, and it's not just coming enforcing rules from the outside.
For instance, like chores, I wasn't able to do everything anymore, and I was getting grumpy. So now, then we had a conversation with the children, like, okay, guys, this is how I'm feeling. I'm feeling grumpy. This is what I need. I need cooperation. How do you guys think should we do this? So to be vulnerable with them, with where I'm at, and to share my feelings with them. And then they come up with ideas because they can see what is happening inside of me. And then we figure out a plan. And then they're much more willing to be part of the plan than I come and say, okay, guys, now it's time to do this. And they don't understand where I'm coming from or anything like that. Or let's say something's happened. They've made a big mess, and now I'm upset. And so now in the past, I would like, okay, now you guys need to tidy it up and and be like a sergeant major. We now would come and share my feelings, like, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Can you understand why I'm feeling like this? Okay, yes. And then they give their feelings and their opinions, and then we figure out a plan. So there's lots of negotiations all happening to figure out solutions that works for all of us. But that was a hard learning curve, because I can't just come with what I think is right now. I actually need to sit down and have that conversation with them around how could we move forward that it works for both of us. Like even if
Yeah.
if the children want to do something, mostly I say yes, but then I'll say, okay, but this is my concern. How can you help me with my concern as well? And usually it's a valid concern, and then they listen to that concern.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a mouthful, but we don't have
I
this
can.
often. We don't have.
I just want to ask you one question. If someone listened to you and say, "Yeah, but you as parents actually have to be in control. The buck stops with you. You have to control the children. Isn't that what we have to do? If you don't control them, they will just running wild." What would you say to someone that feels this is just too open, and it's your responsibility to control them?
I think for me, the only time I usually use that control, in that sense, in my old sense, is when safety is involved. When I'm really concerned for their physical safety, then I'm like, sorry, this is a no. But with the rest, I've had to give away a lot of that control. And I've realized it was out of my need for safety and because I felt uncomfortable that I wanted to control them. But the more I'm connecting with myself, I'm realizing I don't need to control them. There's just no need for that. So, yeah.
Lawrence, I'm having a revelation here. When we do away with control, like Cecile has done, I'm busy doing away with control because it's still tough for me not to give commands and turn it into requests and be vulnerable with why I need this, except if safety is a matter. But what did I want to say now? But the control thing.
You had a revelation.
Oh, this is what I want. This is my this is my Tuesday evening revelation. The control thing. If I enforce my will on my children, I'm creating another me. I will have, and they will quickly learn what I like and what I don't like, and they will just be around me what I want them to be, and that's fake and false. So I won't, if I enforce control and my will upon my children, they won't learn to be themselves. And they will always please me. And more so if they are afraid of me. More so if they are afraid of me.
Yeah.
And that's still a big thing, fear. Because obviously we did away with fear. External fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about the relationship with the children. How do I protect this relationship? And how do I build more of this relationship? And how do I connect more with them? I mean, our eldest is starting to be as a teenager, officially a teenager now. But it's been so beautiful to see how she's actually seeking us out now more than ever. Which I'm so surprised about. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting the teenager to be off and to do her own thing. But now she's coming and asking us for advice, and she's coming and giving us hugs and connecting with us, which she's never actually done before.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And on this note, this is where one of the first big changes started happening. When Cecile confronted me, when I started doing away with control and fear, manipulating Anay specifically with fear, was the question was asked to me, what do you want? 18 or a 21-year-old who's obedient to you, or do you want one that has a open, trust, vulnerable relationship with you? And that kind of shocked me, because we all know many people who's got no relationships with 18 or 16-year-olds.